I mean, there isn't necessarily a formal strategy from the United States or others countries in terms of how to really deal with stabilization in Yemen. So as much as we hear about, calls for stopping the war in Yemen, we're really not hearing about stabilization and how that can happen. Of course, the Special UN Envoy for Yemen, Martin Griffith, is doing some efforts, but the efforts are really seen as externally led because on the ground, no one is really calling for peace. The Houthi militia is increasing its call for jihad. They are fortifying their control over the cities. They're recruiting child soldiers, and they're again sending ballistic missiles to Saudi Arabia and trying their best to continue this war and maintain the upper hand. Because at the end of it, when peace is going to happen, they want to share power with whatever government that comes. And a question that's on mind of a lot of Yemenis is, is the West also going to become now complicit in empowering a militia, an Iranian-backed militia, that is up to no good in Yemen? So there are really, signs of concerns in Yemen that the international community is not necessarily strategic when it comes to finding a solution for Yemen. That calls for stopping the war are simply, focused on the behavior of Saudi Arabia and U.S. allies, and not really closely looking into what the Iranians have been doing in Yemen and what the Houthis have been basically perpetuating in terms of the misery and control and just brutal control over the cities. They have silenced dissent. They have controlled. I mean, talking about journalists who are being murdered in our region. You've got over 2,000 Yemeni journalists, political analysts, or anybody with an opinion is really locked up in jail, and people are being murdered almost on a daily basis. But these events, because they're happening in Yemen, don't really necessarily generate a lot of headlines or awareness.